Being listened to and heard is one of the greatest desires of the human heart. And those who learn to listen are the most loved and respected. Those who learn to listen are the most loved and respected because being listened to and heard is one of our greatest desires. Your effective communication builds trust and confidence with your clients, and that leads to a stronger relationship and better outcomes. When your clients clearly understand your advice and the reasons for it, and they know their needs and their concerns have been fully heard and appreciated, they not only respect you more, but they feel valued, and they see that they're integral to the legal process and to the success of their case. Welcome to the Free Lawyer Podcast. I'm your host, Gary Miles. The Free Lawyer Podcast is designed for the lawyer, entrepreneur, or professional who is in some way unfulfilled, stressed, or stuck, and is looking for something better. We will discuss various blocks that limit us from achieving the personal freedom that we all desire, but have not yet fully experienced. And we will give actionable steps to free yourself from them. Are you looking to achieve a new level of success? If so, this podcast is for you. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for today's episode of The Free Lawyer. I'm Gary Miles, your host. And for those of you who haven't listened before, The Free Lawyer is a podcast designed for lawyers who want to obtain more freedom, more success, more happiness, more joy in their practice. If you're at all struggling or overwhelmed or feeling stressed by your practice, then I hope this podcast gives you some answers. On Mondays, I try to give uplifting podcasts with my own messages. And on Thursdays, I have a guest who hopefully brings some enlightening, encouraging information to you as well. So 2 episodes a week on Mondays and Thursdays. If you like what you hear, please hit the follow button. And for those of you who listen regularly, I would love a rating and review. It means so much to me. And for those who leave a written rating and review, I always share them on the podcast. And I love this one from Carolyn Pennington, who I appreciate so much. Carolyn says, Gary does an amazing job with his podcast. Not only does he ask thorough questions to his guests, but he is inspiring to others. Both my husband and I have enjoyed learning and listening to his podcast, and I'd highly suggest you add to your favorites. Thank you so much, Carolyn and Gary, your husband, who's an amazing lawyer in himself in South Carolina, just a great guy and a true expert in telecom. And if you haven't connected with Carolyn Pennington yet, I encourage you to do so. She's a LinkedIn expert. For those of you who are interested in growing your brand and being seen as the expert in your field on LinkedIn, Carolyn is a great resource. So consider linking up with her and following her and reaching out to her if you need any help or support on LinkedIn. So I appreciate all of you for listening. For those of you who listen regularly, thank you very much. And feel free to share this podcast with any other lawyers or friends you know. So today we're going to talk about a topic that is obviously important to all of us lawyers, and that's effective communication skills. How can we enhance clarity and persuasion in our communication? Law is all about communication, isn't it? Whether it's in writing or orally. And some of us learn to write fairly well in law school, but a lot of times our communication skills break down. So I thought today I'd give a little primer on communication, because it's the one thing all of us use every day in our practice. So I love this quote from Richard Carlson. Being listened to and heard is one of the greatest desires of the human heart. And those who learn to listen are the most loved and respected. Those who learn to listen are the most loved and respected because being listened to and heard is one of our greatest desires. So let me ask you some questions. See what your experiences have been. Have you ever had a conversation with another lawyer? And as soon as you open your mouth, he interrupts you and starts telling you why you were all wrong. Boy, has that happened to me. It happens to me all too often. Have you ever had an occasion in your office where you started to share a concern and you were immediately interrupted and disagreed with? Have you ever struggled to communicate your thoughts clearly and concisely to other lawyers or clients? Do you ever feel you would like to be adequately heard, listened to, and understood? Have you ever wanted to share something important with someone else, but you knew they just were not listening? Or did they interrupt you to tell you what they wanted to say? And didn't that make you feel disrespected and disconnected from that person? Although we're trained to be communication experts, sometimes as lawyers, our effective communication could be so much better. And hardly any single trait is more important to our success than effective communication. Effective communication is a cornerstone of success in the legal profession. Whether arguing a court case, negotiating a settlement, or advising a client, your ability to convey information clearly and persuasively will significantly impact the outcome. Strong communication skills require you to build trust, and enable you to build trust, navigate complex legal issues, and advocate more effectively for your clients. When you have good communication skills, the other party starts to trust you. You're able to advocate more effectively for your clients. So today's episode, we're going to explore critical communication skills each of us should master. Practical techniques to enhance clarity and persuasion in our communication. And we'll discuss the benefits these skills can bring to your practice. The sense of achievement and success that comes with mastering effective communication skills will inspire and excite you. So let's begin with this. How does being a better communicator help you to succeed in your practice? And there really are 7 different ways, at least, where effective communication helps you. The first is client relationships. Your effective communication builds trust and confidence with your clients, and that leads to a stronger relationship and better outcomes. When your clients clearly understand your advice and the reasons for it, and they know their needs and their concerns have been fully heard and appreciated, they not only respect you more, but they feel valued, and they see that they're integral to the legal process and to the success of their case. 2, courtroom success. When we're in court, we have to effectively present arguments, cross-examine witnesses, communicate with judges, and give openings and closings to jury to persuade them and to win cases. I've been a trial lawyer for 45 years, and I've learned that being successful in court requires being an excellent communicator with the other lawyer, with the witnesses, with the court, and with the jury. And I've successfully argued many cases, and I've had favorable outcomes for my clients. And the key to me is effective communication strategies. But it's just not in the courtroom. The third area can help us is with negotiation. We negotiate settlements, contracts, agreements on behalf of our clients all the time. And that requires clear and persuasive communication to achieve those outcomes we wish for our clients. The better I understand the opposing attorney, the more I grasp what his arguments and his rationale is, the better I know his client's goals and needs, the better I am at fashioning a successful resolution for my client. 4, building trust. Clear and concise communication helps lawyers build trust with clients, colleagues, and stakeholders, leading to stronger relationships and better outcomes. 5, persuasion. Effective communication skills will enable you to articulate your arguments persuasively, whether in negotiations, courtrooms, pleadings, motions, increasing your chances of success. 6, conflict resolution. We use our communication skills to resolve disputes, negotiate settlements, and find mutually acceptable solutions for our clients. 7, finally, and most importantly, building reputation. Mastering effective communication enhances your professional reputation. And that leads to referrals, repeat business, and a positive image. That achievement and recognition will boost your confidence and your motivation in your practice. And it will empower you to take on more challenging cases and tasks. Effective communication is truly a cornerstone of your successful legal practice. It enables you to advocate for your clients, collaborate more effectively with your colleagues, and build a more successful practice. So what are the most critical communication skills for lawyers? These are the most important skills you should try to master. The first is active listening. Emotional intelligence plays a crucial role in active listening because it involves understanding the words and the emotions and the intentions behind them of the other party. And that can help you better understand your client's needs and concerns. And active listening is really a lost art among lawyers. We're so busy wanting to talk, to spout our side of the case, to argue back, that we don't take the time to really listen to the other lawyer or to hear what the other party might be saying at the mediation, or to really listen and absorb our client's feelings. Active listening requires very attentive focus on what the other party is saying, but listening and observing carefully for the feelings and the emotions behind them, and to truly understand what the other party is trying to say. And a key step is to not rush so much into trying to react, but to just absorb and listen. 2, another critical communication skill is clarity and conciseness. So often we get stuck in using confusing legal mumbo jumbo in terms. And a critical thing for us is to communicate information clearly and concisely without unnecessary details. That helps prevent misunderstanding and keeps the other party engaged. So try to use plain language, organize your information logically, and focus on the main points. 3, nonverbal communication. Body language, facial expressions, and gestures reinforce your verbal messages. They enhance the message, convey confidence, and build rapport with the other party. So try to maintain good posture, use appropriate gestures, make eye contact, and be aware of facial expressions. 4, persuasive speaking. It's all about being persuasive, isn't it? Crafting and delivering logical, compelling, emotionally engaging arguments is essential for convincing judges, juries, and opposing counsel. Structure your arguments logically and appeal to emotions when appropriate. In writing, use clear and persuasive, legal language. Make your written arguments and communications easily understood and compelling. Clear and concise language, avoiding jargon and legal mumbo jumbo. Structure your documents logically and proofread them thoroughly. And finally, 6, confidence. Display self-assurance in your communication through tone of voice, posture, and demeanor. And that conveys authority and competence, which can persuade and reassure your audience. By developing and honing these essential communication skills, you can enhance your ability to advocate effectively, build strong professional relationships, and achieve better client outcomes. But please remember, these skills require continuous practice and improvement. Effective communication is truly a journey of learning and growth. So what are the most essential techniques for enhancing clarity and persuasion? Here are some of the most critical techniques. The first is to use clear and concise language. Avoid legal jargon and use language easily understood by all the parties involved. This will help prevent misunderstandings and ensure that your message is clear. It's important to note that while avoiding jargon, you should still maintain the legal terminology to ensure accuracy and credibility in your communication. And one challenge you might face is getting the right balance the right balance between legal terms and plain language. So consider your audience, their level of legal knowledge, and adjust your language accordingly. So be conscious of your language. Try to be as clear and concise as you can and not too legalistic. The second, of course, is to structure your arguments logically. Organize your thoughts and arguments using a structure such as what we learned in law school, the IRAC method: issue, rule, application, and conclusion when you're making a legal argument. 3, be concise, be as succinct, brief, and direct as you can without unnecessary details. 4, tell a story. This is one of the most critical elements. Use storytelling to make your arguments more engaging and relatable. And last week I did a whole episode on storytelling, and you may want to check it out. Craft a narrative with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Incorporate elements like conflict, resolution, and human interest. Try using a personal anecdote in your argument or your client meeting. Tell some story about yourself. That will make your communication more engaging, but also help you be more authentic and to really connect better with your clients and with the audience. 5, appeal to emotions. Connect with your audience emotionally to make your arguments more compelling. Use anecdotes, descriptions, and empathetic language to evoke empathy or anger or hope. 6, we talked about this before, but practice active listening. Focus on understanding the speaker's message before responding. Listen very carefully to understand the other party's needs and concerns and emotions. And please don't interrupt. Don't offer solutions or comments. Just listen carefully and absorb what the other person is saying. And then acknowledge and address the points raised to show that you understood. You heard and listened and understood and build rapport. 7, be prepared. Ensure you're well prepared before any communication, whether a meeting, presentation, or negotiation. And that includes knowing your audience, understanding the purpose of the communication, and anticipating potential questions or objections. Sorry for the interruption there, a little bit of background noise. Some folks are working outside and creating some noise, so I apologize for that. But being prepared is so critical, whether it's for trial, meeting, presentation, negotiation. Know your audience. Know what you're trying to accomplish. Think about the potential objections or questions you might get. Knowing your material inside out helps you deliver your message confidently and convincingly. Practice your delivery. Anticipate the counter arguments and the questions, and have your supporting evidence and responses ready. 8, maintain good nonverbal communication. So often you see people looking away, not paying attention. But think about your body language, your facial expressions, and your tone of voice. Use body language, eye contact, and facial expressions to reinforce your verbal message. Stand straight or sit upright. Use the right gestures and maintain eye contact. Nonverbal cues will really impact how well your message is received. 9, practice empathetic communication. Sometimes empathy is a difficult skill for we lawyers. We want to think logically. We want to argue. We want to answer problems. But let's start with understanding the emotions behind the message and then respond appropriately. Try to understand the perspective of the person you're communicating with. Showing empathy builds trust and improves the quality of your communication. This helps form stronger relationships and resolve conflicts more effectively. And finally, 10, ask for feedback. Solicit feedback from clients or colleagues about your communication skills and use that feedback to identify areas for improvement so you can improve your clarity and persuasiveness over time. So use clear and concise language, structure your arguments logically, tell a story, appeal to emotions, Practice your active listening. Be very prepared. Watch your nonverbal communication. Be empathetic and solicit feedback. When you master these techniques, you will enhance your ability to be more compelling, and you'll increase the likelihood of achieving successful outcomes. Effective communication is not just a skill. It's a critical asset that can distinguish you from your peers and elevate your practice to new heights. When you master the art of clear, persuasive, and empathetic communication, you will build stronger relationships with your clients. You will achieve more favorable outcomes, and you'll foster a collaborative and respectful professional environment. Remember, the power of your words can transform complex legal issues into compelling narratives. It can resolve conflicts with grace, and most importantly, it will inspire trust and confidence in those you represent. So if you invest in honing your communication skills, watch as they profoundly impact your success and your fulfillment. And if you ever have an interest in improving your communication skills, reach out to me. You'll see a link in the show notes where you can schedule a courtesy call with me, and I'd love to chat with you about your communication, because I find sometimes responding to lawyers who are very difficult and challenging their communication can be very difficult for me. So thank you all for being here. If you have any suggestions for future episodes, please reach out to me at gary@garymiles.net. I hope you have a great week. I appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, please be well, be safe, and be free. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Free Lawyer Podcast. Wherever you are listening, if you enjoyed what I shared, please leave me a rating and review. I would appreciate hearing more about what you like best and what topics you might like me to cover in future episodes. If you are interested in experiencing a more fulfilling and a more successful life, please contact me at www.garymiles.net, where you can schedule a free discovery call with me so I can learn more about you, your challenges, and your dreams. I appreciate each and every one of you, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks to all of you for your support.